December 24th, 2015. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 89 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So welcome back, Dr. Mike.
Thank you.
You just had a trip in southern Indiana?
Southern Indiana, the Horseshoe Casino in southern Indiana.
Good. Okay, so we'll get to your trip report later on in the show, and it sounds like it was a good trip.
It's a very good trip.
Yeah. Okay. One part of the news, we didn't mention this last time, although it had just happened before our last episode, but a couple of the card rooms here in San Diego were basically raided by the FBI because of money laundering and prostitution and drugs. And so they were shut down, at least for a period of time. I think they might be open again.
Well, that's weird. Prostitution and drug and money laundering in a casino?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
Because card room, I should say.
Yeah, we should make that clear. These are card rooms here in San Diego, so it's basically just poker. They're not full-blown casinos. They don't have
slots.
No slot machines. They do have blackjack, but it's the kind of blackjack where a player actually has to bank the game.
These places were grandfathered in.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, right? Because there are card rooms up in Los Angeles too. There are a few card rooms here, and you can't just open up a card room, as far as I know.
Otherwise, we would.
But so these are not full-blown casinos. The only real casinos in California are the tribal casinos.
Right.
And, they're full-blown casinos. But these were just card rooms, and I guess there were some characters that were, laundering money through them, and the card rooms themselves were not very diligent in trying to catch that.
Yeah, so the card room itself may not be in trouble. It may just be the not paying attention to what was going on.
Right, it could be that the card rooms themselves were not involved in the drugs and prostitution. But anyway, the case is playing out. It actually, made national news. So since it's a local thing here, we thought we'd bring it up. But, stay tuned as far as how that's going to
I think I went to that Palomar Club room once, years ago.
I did once.
And I don't think I stayed more than like 15 minutes.
I actually played there for a while. It was back when I was going pretty regular to the tribal casinos to play poker. And I thought, well, why not go to a place in town that's a little closer? I don't have to drive far away.
Sure.
And it was kind of depressing. It was small, and it was a little rundown.
It's a lot of regulars.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was definitely the odd man out.
Guys who play every day there together.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So anyway, okay, let's jump into some phone calls. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Scott.
Hey guys, this is Scott from Boston. I wanted to call and make a comment on a show I just caught up on from early November about big bets. The show just made me laugh because you guys were talking about some photo of the new layout at Golden Nugget or wherever it was where they had the new hardway place bet, and Dr. Dave was trying to remember if he had seen the picture or not. He couldn't really remember, to like day before yesterday when you sent him the pic. But as soon as you started talking about your epic roll where you got tipped $600, he remembered every roll, every hard way, every series of rolls, every point you made. I just thought it was a really funny comment on how the doctor's memory works there. I got another story too. I'm going to call back and tell you guys because I think it illustrates a lot of the stuff that you guys love to say about craps.
All right, thanks, Scott. Yeah, we'll hear from him later. You've got kind of a selective memory. I guess.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I definitely remember all the good stuff, and I block all the bad stuff out, which I suggest everyone should do. Right?
That's just good gambling advice. Now, would you agree that I have a better memory than you?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I would make no presumptions that I have a better memory than you. I mean, you remember every detail.
All right. So if we're ever in an argument on the show, folks, about, something that happened, I'm probably right.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, there has been a few times when you weren't.
Yeah.
But probably you are, and probably I'm not. I don't remember. your whole life, just forget the bad stuff. Move on.
Yeah.
And remember all the good things.
Yeah.
Then when you're laying there in bed going over a craps roll, it's not a crappy one. You have better dreams that way.
Yeah, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, you rolled that. And then it was a 7.
Yeah. No, I just remember these long rolls.
Yeah, but see, Scott is just saying you didn't remember the layout with those hard way place bets.
Probably means I wasn't paying much attention.
Yeah, right. Or that's a bad memory.
Yeah,
placing the hard way for over 10% house edge. I don't want to think about that. Yeah. Okay, here's a call from Brian the Thinker.
Hey, guys. Brian the Thinker from California. I was listening to your most recent podcast. First of all, the audio sounds a lot better. Congrats on the new equipment. One of your callers had a question about where to find an empty craps table. And you guys missed the really obvious answer. If you want an empty craps table or an empty restaurant or an empty room or an empty casino floor, SLS. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, it's it really is a shame. We've talked about it. We really enjoyed playing at SLS, but we're certainly not going to stay there again because of the small rooms. And yeah, we'd have to make a special trip there. It's the location is the problem right now.
It always has been. Yeah. I'm surprised actually that was even built.
Well, I mean, it was on the old Sahara, right? They bought it up.
But I mean, even Sahara had that problem. It's a bad location. Yeah. It's kind of off. You have to really want to go there.
Yeah, you don't stumble on it.
Kind of like Stratosphere.
Yes.
Right? And Stratosphere, remember back in the day when Stupak was there and you got coupon after coupon for stuff.
That's right.
They had to find a way to get you there.
That's right. He had these great deals where basically you paid like $200 for a room and everything, and then when you got there, you got $200 in goofy chips.
Right. And it was all I think everyone in that casino was on that deal.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And nobody was there just like, let's stay at Stratosphere.
Yeah.
No, it was a deal.
Yeah, and now the draw is the tower, right? I mean, there is a reason to go down there and the rides and everything, right? So but. Yeah, I'm rooting for SLS, but are we going to go back?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I've been getting emails from them.
Oh, me too.
Like constantly.
Emails and flyers.
And
mailers. Yeah. Okay, here's a call from Chris.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Chris from Round Rock, Texas. Just got back from a quick trip to Vegas with my buddies, and we went downtown one night. I had a free play, or not even a free play, it was a match play at the D. And so we walked in and walked around. I got the ticket out. And my buddies, they weren't loving the atmosphere of the D, so I was just going to make the bet and then move on somewhere else. And so I go to the craps table. I put $100 down, and it's a $10 match play. So I put $10 on the pass line with the match play underneath, and then the point comes. The come out roll is 5, and so I figure I'll put $10 in odds behind it. And so I do that, and a couple rolls later, it sevens out. And so I say, all right, I'm good. Color me up. And they give me $75 and out of my 100. And so I was like, no. I bet 10, and then I put 10 behind it, and so I should have $80 back. And they were giving me a big stink, like, sir, this is the money on the table. And I was just kind of annoyed, like, it's $5. You know what I mean? Like, $5 means nothing to them. I'm not lying. I mean, I guess maybe they thought I was lying, but if I was lying, I wouldn't be lying about $5. But it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Even the box man there, or I don't know if he was the pit boss or whatever, but yeah, he was just kind of making a big statement, just raising his hands like, sorry, this is the money. And so what I think actually happened is when I gave them my 100, I think they miscounted and gave me 95, and I didn't even notice. I wasn't planning on playing that long, but I don't know, just a little annoying thing like that I'm honestly probably never going to play at the D again. Just because they were such a big stink about $5. You lose throw $5 on the hard 8 all the time. You don't care if you lose it there. But yeah, I just wasn't happy with the way they kind of acted, thinking I was trying to. They were wrong, and they made me feel like I was trying to cheat them out of it. So I don't know. The gambling on the trip was not great. I had a fantastic time with my buddies. Hopefully, we'll get to go back sometime together. But yeah, I just wanted to. One of those things that casinos, they make a big stink out of a little bit of money when they're making a lot more. So I love your show, love the podcast, and hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah, that's too bad that something like that happened.
It's funny because casinos will handle those things so poorly.
I know, exactly.
The dealer should have said, no, he had 10 on the line and 10 odds because he picked it up.
The dealer and the boxman both should have. And Chris is probably pleading his case saying, look, these are the only bets I made. You just collected them, right? They were losers.
Right.
Did I make any other bet? Did I throw in, a hard way? Did I put something in the field? I cashed in for 100.
Right.
I made 2 bets.
Right. And, it's like Chris said, too. It's $5.
It's $5.
The casino would be way better off to keep him happy.
Yeah.
To get him back later to get his other $80.
Even if they thought, oh, well, maybe he pocketed $5, right? And that's how he's trying to get away with it, which clearly he didn't, right?
Well, why would anybody? I mean,
that's quite a scam you got going there, right?
I made $12 today.
Oh, seriously, this is terrible to hear. It's really a disappointment, especially with the good experience we had at the D. But here, this is kind of like what happened to us at Main Street Station, right?
Exactly.
It was a bad experience. We're not going back, even though, we have heard from other people that they always have a good experience. Now here's a case where Chris had, I think, a terrible experience. It's $5 and they're arguing with him.
Right.
And so he's never going to go back.
What these casinos need to do is they need to get their pit and their dealers together and have meetings regularly and say, look, there are times to make a stand.
Yeah.
Where you obviously think something's going, and there are other times where stuff happens. Keep the guy happy.
Yeah.
We'll get his money later anyway.
Exactly. They're losing money in the long run by getting all uptight about $5. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a drink, right?
Yeah, right.
Think of it that way. You give a guy, a free drink. It's like, oh, we gave him a free drink.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear again from Scott.
Hey guys, this is Scott from Boston again. I wanted to tell you guys a story because it illustrates a lot of the stuff that I think you guys talk a lot about loving about craps, and it was really one of the high points of my craps career. It just happened a few weeks ago when I was on a business trip down to New Orleans, and I was playing craps at the Harrah's downtown there. It's kind of a local crowd a lot down there in New Orleans, and I like that. There's lots of people that come in and play all kind of crazy bets and stuff, and there was one dude at the table. He literally reminded me of Flavor Flav on a serious crack bender. I mean, he was like skinny, wild-eyed, crazy looking, looked like Flavor Flav. And he was that guy at the craps table that has all the weird superstitions and is getting really pissed off about everything. Like he would like spin the dice around, twist them and roll them over and over again until he had just the right look before he would roll the dice. And if the stick man didn't put the right number up, he would get pissed and yell at him and curse at him. He was crazy. He was totally crazy. He was so bad that the otherwise very polite stickman and dealers were giving him a hard time because he was just, ridiculous. So I'm giving the guy a hard time, but it turned out his sister-in-law or something is standing right next to me at the far end of the table. So she starts giving me the stink eye. I'm like, oh no, that's not good mojo. Well, anyway, the day's moved on from this crazy dude, and a couple shooters later, I've got the fire bet up. This lady next to me has the fire bet up, and this guy kicks off an epic roll. I mean, we are making money hand over fist. And poor Flavor Flav didn't bet on this roll because, the bird's entrails weren't properly aligned or whatever the hell it was, but he had decided this was a bad shooter and he wasn't going to play. So he's out of the roll. He's just sitting there steaming because we're all making crazy cash. And this guy keeps rolling number after number, unique number after unique number. And we're cheering and we're jumping up and down and we're, I got come bets with odds on every number and it's just ATM city. And, when he hits the fourth number for the fire bet, we're jumping up and down and screaming. I had $5 on it. She had $1 on it. She's hugging me. So much for the stank eye, right? And when he hit the fifth number, we were like old friends, right? She was, hugging me, jumping up and down. We were screaming together. It was just amazing. I don't know. I bought in for 500. I walked away with almost 5,000. It was an amazing, amazing roll. I did tip the guy a little bit, not $600, but a little something because he hadn't bet too much on himself. But it was just an amazing example.
All right, Scott got cut off there. We have that 3-minute limit on our voicemail, but
I love that story.
Yeah, yeah. And you wonder about people like that. Does this Flavor Flav guy does he like playing craps?
No.
Is it something he enjoys?
No, he's there for the torture. Is what it is. He just likes to be tortured.
It just shows you, if you kind of go in with that mentality. I don't know if you want to call it karma or whatever, but here he is just watching everybody else at the table win because he was sure this was going to be a bad roll, or who knows what he was thinking. thinking.
Who
right?
knows? Yeah. Well, these guys with those superstitions, it drives me crazy.
Well, especially when it goes to that limit. It's, if you have superstitions, you're having a good time, that's fine. But when you're kind of making it horrible for everybody else at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand, and I'll do this. I'll like set the dice to a 9, 5, 4 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I throw them. If the roll's going good, I keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just because, not that I believe it makes any difference. It's just like, okay, well, I'll just won't change anything.
Right, and you're enjoying yourself. You're not angry. Nobody else at the table is angry.
And it's quick. You get them,
right,
it's like boom, boom, and you throw them. But these guys who goof around and play with them, oh, God, it drives me crazy.
A good story.
We've seen a lot of guys like that.
Yes. Oh, I know. I remember that. Well, we've talked about it before. That one guy, I think you were rolling, right? And you'd walk away from the table and then only come back when the dice were put in front of you. It was driving him crazy.
Oh,
even though you were having a good roll, he was getting so mad.
He was making tons of money, and he was so mad that I was walking. Yeah. And I was taking like a few steps away.
It was
from
goofy,
the table.
right? It was just goofy. Yeah. All right, let's hear from our buddy Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. We're just sitting in the Cosmopolitan room, listening to all the podcasts we listen to. Couple of things on crabs. So between last trip and this trip, last trip was a piñata trip. We had the D suite for my friend who had a birthday and his wife, and there was one more couple and one more friend. So there were 7 of us. And I got this craps, like I said, a beach towel, but it's a craft felt, basically, beach towel. Anyway, so I got a couple of dice from Golden Gate Players Club. I had some points on comps, dollars or whatever, and just taught them how to play craps and with the beach towel, and then we played later. We did go to Main Street Station and did play craps. There was a guy shooting next to me, and the stickman did say like several times, like all the way to the wall. You would not. Yeah, that was really weird. I don't think we would play there. Golden Gate again, super good dealers. Let's reinforce that. And what else? Oh, however, Main Street Station, they have the 777 brewery. They have a 5-ounce beer sampler, and it's like $6, a little over $6, I think, with tax. And I got a couple of my friends, I don't drink beer, but I got a couple of my friends samplers, and I was like, hey, see which one you like. And then they sampled it, and then we went out to play $5 double-deck blackjack, 3-2, and they could order the craft beer, whatever they brew there, on site. It's comped beer while you're playing table games. So I thought that was something really good for when you take someone to downtown who's never been. I think that was really good. Okay, I think that's the crafts and the gambling. On to the next podcast. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you guys later and see you sometime. Bye.
Good. Yeah, so good information about the beer at Main Street Station. I love the story about, how he got that beach towel and then just got some dice and was teaching his friends how to play. That's,
I hope they weren't playing on the beach, though.
No. Oh, God, the sand and everything.
Can you imagine how many times the dice would be like at a weird angle? Oh. What would the call be?
Yeah, what would be a call? Yeah.
A lot of arguments.
Yeah, I'm guessing since it was Las Vegas, they probably weren't at the beach, but I don't know. Maybe they went down to the Mandalay Bay, right? That beach pool there, and that's where they played it. Taylor didn't indicate, so I'm just going to have to assume that
it was there.
Yeah, all right. But I love that story. I'm thinking, gosh, wouldn't that be great if, like, VIMF next year, instead of, like we said, like let's just start playing, maybe we could set up some kind of situation in a room or somewhere where it's separate, crafts table.
You want to get arrested? That's what you want.
No. I'm saying like a conference room or something. The casino knows about it, and it's just
in your hotel room.
People are throwing down money, right? We're just dealing.
All right, 7 out. Everyone take a piece of clothing off.
But, that'd be a good way to teach, right? If we just had like goofy chips and, just not real chips and then play that way. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to think about that.
Work on that one.
No, you're thinking about when we're at your house and we invite all our friends over
right.
to steal their money
right.
at the craps table. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking you're leaning towards. Oh, sorry you lost.
That's right. Thanks for coming to VIMF. Try your luck at the real tables downstairs next. Okay. Hey, we got an audio clip from our friend Ed. Let's listen.
Hey guys, it's Ed, your intrepid East Coast correspondent. I wanted to comment on something that was brought to light on Show 88. But first, a little background. I came to age during the Saturday Night Fever disco days of the early 1980s. So when I was younger, I went to the legendary Brooklyn discos. When I got a little older, I was working in Manhattan. My friends and I would go down to the village, to those freaky clubs down there where all sorts of craziness would go on. We'd also go further uptown and hit the celebrity-filled, upscale clubs with the velvet rope and all that. So I really saw it all. But after hearing on Show 88 and finding out that Dr. Mike attends the San Diego County Dental Society Winter Gala, I feel like I lived a sheltered life. I can just imagine the insanity that goes on at that rave. I'm picturing those rubber gloves must be flying all over the room, water pick throwdowns breaking out in the aisles, people rinsing and spitting like nobody's business. I'll bet you there's not a cavity that leaves there unfilled. And I'm sure no one is going home without being slipped a little plastic bag for later in the night. If you know what I mean. Yeah, that one with the toothbrush and the tiny Listerine. You know what they say, when it comes to partying, no one is as hardcore as the members of the San Diego County Dental Society. Sorry, Mike. I had to break your chops on that one. On another note, I hope you guys get the best podcast vote. You have the most unique show on the web. You guys get into all interesting topics. The only thing I really miss is that poker home game segment. I don't know why you decided to get rid of that. All right, be well, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Ed.
I like that. I'm going to play that for some of my dental friends.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, they're wild.
Yeah, well,
they're
just
wild.
the picture that I saw, they looked wild.
Yeah, yeah. And there is definitely no cavity not filled. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. As far as our poker home game segment, we didn't, consciously decide to get rid of it. There were a couple things. Number one, it's really the only segment that we've gotten negative feedback about.
Yeah, because it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. The other thing, too, is then I stumbled across the Top Pair Poker Home Game podcast, where, that's all they talk about really is home games. And I thought, well, they're kind of covering it. The other reason, too, is we kind of ran out of games.
Yeah. There's a limited amount of games.
Yeah,
right?
and, we're not going to sit here and just say, okay, now you can play Texas Hold'em where nines are wild, and that's our whole segment, right?
We go through the whole deck.
So, if anybody has some interesting games, something that's, really quite a bit different from what we've talked about, yeah, we'll bring this segment back, because I know there are some people who like it. So,
what's your favorite home game where there's wild cards? What's your favorite wild cards?
With wild cards, we play a game, wild cards going both ways, that I think we talked about on the show, where it's a high-low split game, and it's a 7-card stud game, and you have 3 down cards, and whatever is your lowest down card is your wild card for high,
right?
And whatever is your highest down card is your wild card for low.
Yeah, see, now that's kind of follows on my thing, because I like when kings and twos are wild.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of the same thing.
Kings are wild low,
yeah.
And twos are wild high. Mm-hmm. I like it, and I think the same reason you do, because people get screwed up.
That's right. They can't figure out what hand they have. Right. Well, I've got 4 tens. No, you've got a pair of tens.
See, it's great, because the person who's not paying attention always gets screwed up.
You're absolutely right, and we've been playing that game lately, and it's true. At the end, people are looking, and then sometimes they've actually got a better hand than they think. Right? Well, you've got a royal flush there, Ted. And it's like,
right. The more confusing the wild cards, the better.
That's true. Although twos and kings, that's good. I'm going to call this at our home game. I'm glad you brought that up. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the cost of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. All right, Dr. Mike, so tell us about your trip.
Well, we went actually to Indiana for a wedding, okay? One of my wife's relatives getting married in southern Indiana. Turns out that the wedding where it was taking place, and it was in this mansion, old mansion type thing, was on the same street as the casino.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much better could that be? When we're going to that wedding, it's like on the same street as the casino. So, we flew to Louisville, Kentucky.
Right. Because it's real close to the state line there, right?
Yeah. Louisville's right on the state line, right on the Ohio River. So you cross the river and you're in Indiana. in southern Indiana. So we flew into Louisville. Nice flight. We took Southwest, and I think Adam mentioned this on Vegas Fanboy podcast, how Southwest is, always on time, or seems to be. Yeah. And sure enough, going there and coming back, flights got to where we were going early, both times. Yeah, just really good service.
Now, you didn't go, it was not nonstop, right? You had to stop.
No,
somewhere.
we had to stop. Going there, we stopped in Phoenix. We went San Diego to Phoenix, then to Louisville.
Okay.
And coming back, I didn't know this coming back. My wife said, I think this is nonstop going back because we don't get off the plane. No, it stopped in Las Vegas.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. I said, why didn't we plan this where we get off and stay a few hours and then go back?
Yeah, I'm sure she would have gone for that.
Oh, yeah. I think they all would have been up for it. So anyway, we got there, and I want to mention this. We had Hertz, and my wife is a club member, right?
Yeah.
So we get there, we get we had just had carry-ons, and I said, okay, let's just walk out to the Hertz outside and get our car. Well, we started walking outside. We get out there. There's no booth or anything. We went back into the airport. It's small, so this isn't a long walk or anything. And we went up and I said, oh, don't we just go straight to our car? We're the Gold Club members or whatever. And she's like, oh, no, not here. You have to come to the desk. We're too small an airport.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have attendants outside. Plus, they share the lot with every other rental car.
Yeah, right.
So people would get confused, which car you were taking.
Right.
So we did have to go through the line. So it didn't really save us any time.
Oh, well.
But the lady was super nice, and she kept us there for like 15 minutes talking about just mundane stuff.
Oh, it's just the friendly Southern culture.
Super friendly, yeah. And we're like, we want to go. But she was nice. Anyway, we drove to the casino, which I believe is called the Horseshoe, Southern Indiana.
Yeah, okay.
And we checked in. It took it's like a 30-minute drive because you're on regular streets.
Yeah.
And we checked in. They gave me a suite, which was nice, and a $500 comp for food.
Oh, that's good. This is part of your 7 stars package, probably, right? Yeah,
right. Yeah. So we had $500 for food for the weekend, and we had the suite. And my mother-in-law was with us, and we got an extra room for her, which they comped as well.
Nice,
which was very nice. I wasn't expecting that at all. And so my daughters and my mother-in-law stayed in one room, and my wife and I were in the suite. And so the first thing we did is we go down to eat because we'd kind of missed lunch for us. And when we got there, by the time we got to the hotel, it's like 5:30 their time. So it's dinner time there. And my daughter, my youngest, loves steak. So we were going to go to the steak place. I said, well, we got $500. Let's go to the steak place. We walk up and the lady says, oh, I'm sorry, we can't seat you. And that's exactly what she said. And I'm like, what?
Okay.
What do we do? And she says, no children, no one under 18. She could see the 2 girls standing there.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, why is that? I'm thinking, is it because of alcohol or?
Well, there's some casino. I know there's some casinos here in San Diego where if you're not 18, you can't even eat in the restaurants.
Right, but this is not in the casino. The restaurants are, it's weird how this is. The casino's on a boat sitting in the Ohio River.
Yeah.
The hotel is about, let me say, 400 yards, 500 yards back from the water.
Okay.
Up against a hill. Really pretty, actually very pretty. And there's a long walkway that connects the hotel and the casino.
Okay.
And on this walkway, along the way, there's shops and there's restaurants and stuff. So the restaurant's not actually in the casino.
Okay. All right.
So you could go there, you could eat, you could shop, and never ever see a table, never even see the casino.
Okay.
So, it turns out it's because of smoking. So Indiana has a law that they allow smoking indoors.
Yeah.
Which in California is not allowed.
Right. And
if there is smoking in a business where it's indoors, you cannot have anyone under 18 in there.
So that's an Indiana state law, anywhere?
That's what she said. Anywhere in Indiana, if there's smoking inside the establishment, you cannot allow people under 18 to.
Okay.
But
that really for the whole state? That doesn't sound like it would be the whole state. Or
that's what she said.
All right.
And I kind of believe it because when we were out and about, we ate lunch at a place, and they had a big sign that said, this is a non-smoking establishment.
Oh, okay. So that's what probably a lot of the restaurants in the state, it's just they're non-smoking so that the kids can get in. But since this is kind of a hotel casino situation,
right,
of course there's going to be smoking. So
right. So
okay.
we couldn't eat there.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Where can we eat? And they're like, well, you have to eat on the patio. And the places that had patios were there was a barbecue place and the buffet.
Okay.
Well, my wife doesn't like buffets because, she's, the food's never that good and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we went to the barbecue place. We sat out on the patio and the kids were allowed to eat there.
Now, was smoking allowed out on the patio?
No, there's no smoking outside. That would ruin the environment, Mark.
Okay, so the kids were allowed to eat there because there's no smoking allowed outside.
There was no smoking allowed outside. There were actually even no ashtrays or anything on the tables. Right?
Okay.
So we ate at the barbecue place, and then my daughter was really mad about that. But she got a steak there too, right. So it worked out okay. And we ate, and then when we were through eating, it was like they were kind of like, well, what are we going to do? And they're like, well, let's go back to the room. By that time, it's like 6:37 time there, but we're 3 hours actually early.
Right, it's like 3:30 in the afternoon for you at that point, so you're not really tired or anything.
No, they're not really tired, but it was Friday night. They wanted to watch Amazing Race, which started at 8 o'clock that time there. So they went back to the rooms, watched TV, basically.
Okay, so and you're thinking,
this is good for me. Yeah. Because I'm just going to head to the casino. So, so they did. They went back to the room, and I went to the casino. And actually, it's kind of a long walk. Like I said, it's, 300-400 yards. It's quite a ways. There is a little shuttle. If
I was going to say, they probably,
Yeah, to help some older people. But anyway, I walked through it, and when you enter the boat, you enter on the 4th level.
Okay.
There's 4 floors. Mm-hmm. And each level had a casino cage. I thought that was kind of nice.
Well, that makes sense. So you don't have to go up and down.
Go anywhere. And I walked on the 4th floor. I looked around. It was mostly slots up there. There were a few table games like blackjack and stuff, but mostly slots. And so I asked, and they said, down on the 3rd floor is the craps tables. So I went down to the 3rd floor, and there are 4 craps tables.
Good.
Yeah, I thought, pretty nice, actually. And there were a lot of blackjack, and there were more table-type games on the 3rd floor.
Okay, and so
slots.
This was a Friday night, so were the tables full?
It was full. It was packed. Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday morning, they were full. Yeah. Sunday night, because we left Sunday night late, they were not.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Typical.
Yeah, people were at work.
Sure.
It's kind of a locals casino. I mean, mostly locals. You know, they were all like, where are you from? This and that. And a lot of people seem to know each other.
Yeah.
So I went. It was interesting. They had 3 $10 tables and a $25 table. Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting about that is it's 100 times odds.
100 times odds. We got to talk about that. Here's this casino is like all by itself, right? There's not something close by.
No, there is nothing close by.
And they're offering 100 times odds. Meanwhile, Steve Wynn on the Strip, where there are other casinos, has gone down to double odds.
Yes.
50 times less.
Steve Wynn, grow some cojones. That's all I got to say. Because I'll tell you what, 100 times odds, it's great. What's funny is, why would anyone play a $25 table?
Yeah, really.
Right? Why not just play the $10 table and take more odds?
Yeah.
Right? Which is what I did.
Well, because did you certainly didn't take 100 times odds while you were there, right?
No,
on a $10 table?
I did not see one person take 100 times odds. I mean, you got $10, 100 times odds, $1,000, right? Yeah. I did get up to $500-600 at points
on some good rolls,
on some good numbers. But no, I never. That's the closest I got to 100. I think I had $600 odds on a 6 once. Yeah. And 500 it's several times, but that's putting a lot of money out there.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I started playing, and it went well.
Good.
Very well. Yeah. I mean, it was funny. It seemed like that first night I was never really even down.
That's always nice.
Yeah. I just, immediately the first guy had a good roll, and then the second guy had an okay roll and everything. So ended up having a winning night. I was leaving there with feeling great. So I cashed out, had a pretty big win, and I decided to check out the other floors. The second floor had a stage for a live band, and there was a band playing there. Mm-hmm. And that took up a fair amount of that floor, although there were a lot of slot machines and stuff going on. And then the first floor is a non-smoking floor.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why they don't put a restaurant there for kids.
Right. So it was non-smoking. Could you tell it was non-smoking?
Yeah, you could tell.
You really could
tell, yeah, because it's like a ship with it's like a bunch of different rooms, basically, big, huge rooms. So when you got down the first floor, since there's no smoking, you don't get the smoke from the second, third, and fourth floors, right?
Good.
So, yeah, it was...
It really did...
It really was it smelled different.
Okay.
Right? I mean, other than the fact that my clothes smelled like smoke. 'Cause
Right.
I'd been on the third floor for 4 hours.
It's just, some casinos have like non-smoking sections, but of course they're all on the same level.
Yeah,
so what's the point, right?
it's
I mean, smoke's going to
ridiculous.
get in there, but that's good to hear about this. Okay.
Yeah, so that was nice. If you were a non-smoker, you go down there. Now it was just slots down there.
Okay. Not a poker room or something that.
God, there was a poker room, and I can't remember what floor it was.
Because most
on.
poker rooms are non-smoking, but
Yeah, it might have been on that first floor. There was a poker room, and for the life of me, I don't remember what floor I saw it on. I want to say it was second.
All right.
Though, but anyway, everyone was very friendly. The dealers were great.
That's good to hear.
I have to say, the dealers were great. They were all super friendly, all very chatty. Where are you from? They recognized you weren't local. So that was good. The drinks came fast.
Nice.
I mean, I would have nobody could have a complaint. They were like, they'd serve you a drink, she'd walk away, and then 4 minutes later, back taking orders.
Did you have to pay for alcohol?
No.
So the drinks were comped.
The drinks were comped.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And that first night, that Friday night, one of our listeners stopped by just out of the blue. I don't know. Did you tell him what I look like, or
no? Well, no. I said, you know what I said.
You didn't
I said,
know what I was wearing because I hadn't told you.
No, but I said, look for the guy betting the horn. At first, I said the guy betting the horn every come out. And I said, no, wait, the world. So I tweeted that. I said, just look for the guy who's betting the world every come out.
Because he just came up and tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, Dr. Mike. And
he might have heard you. If you were talking.
I was talking. I was talking.
Yeah.
But his name was Billy. He seemed like a really nice guy. He was with a buddy, and they were, looking for some other people. So he didn't stay very long. We just talked. I told him, hey, come back and play, but I don't. It was full too. So it sounded like anyway. I never saw him again, but nice guy. Seemed like a very nice guy, and that's pretty much how the first night went. Oh, when I cashed out, I'm going to say this. When I cashed out, I went and asked them, what do they do for cash advances? So if I want to debit some money off my debit card.
Sure.
So the lady told me for 7-star people, and I think Diamond, I'm not sure. She did say something about Diamond. You get your fee back in cash.
In cash for a debit?
Debit.
Really?
Yes. So if you debit, let's say you take $2,000 out, it'll be like $82 or something.
Yeah.
It's like $82.99. They give you $83 back in cash.
In cash. Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to check that out because Caesars Southern California changed theirs. They used to be that way.
Yeah.
Then they changed it to free play.
Right. And weren't you in Vegas at some point where they don't refund it at all?
And now at Caesars Palace in Vegas, they do not refund it at all. So it's just like, well, if you're going to take debit money out,
you'd think there'd be some
7-star.
consistency within casinos.
So here's
same.
3 Caesars properties with totally different things. And this place, 100 times odds. And if you take money out, they give it back to you in cash.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's usually, I don't like to carry a lot of money. So you go there, you use your debit card, you get it back in cash. It's like free. It's like just
nice.
Taking $2,000 out. That was great. Oh, another thing, the fire bets. Okay, you can go up to $25 fire bets,
and it's the same payouts that were used. It has to be 4 numbers or more.
4, 5, and 6. Yeah,
25. Wow.
Yeah, you can go up to a $25 bet. So Harris, Southern California, $5 max, 25 here, and if you want to tip the dealers, you can have an aggregate bet of $26.
So 25 for you and $1 for them.
Yeah, or 20 for you and 6 for them, or 15 for you and what would that be?
11 for them.
11 for them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
any amount up to $26
if you're betting with the dealers on it. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
If you want to bet the dealers, and the dealers had no limit. So every player, theoretically, I could have put $1 for me and 25 for them.
Uh-huh.
And if every player did that, they could have 16 times 25, whatever out there.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It was really nice.
We talk about this, right? The fire bet's a terrible bet as far as a house edge goes. I know that the casinos are kind of worried about big payouts.
Right.
But they're going to make a killing if they have
in the long run. Well, and I
great.
was like, when I was winning, I played 4 sessions. I won all 4 sessions. So my fire bets were like 15 for me, 5 for them, every time. And then a few times it was like I was putting 20 and 6 for them. And so, they were making money. I did hit 2 fire bets for 4 numbers.
Okay.
So that was good. So, fire bet, I probably came out okay on that.
All right.
I'm sure I lost, but I was winning, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
They allow put bets.
They allow put bets.
They allow
okay,
put
yeah.
bets.
That's interesting because when we were in Vegas, several casinos that offered 10 times odds say, oh, we don't allow put bets because we offer 10 times odds.
Right.
And here's a place that offers 100 times odds and offers put bets.
Yes.
We've talked about put bets before, but just real quick, a put bet is like making a come bet and putting your bet right on a number instead of putting it on the come and letting the dice decide how to go. And put bets, when you've got 100 times odds, they're actually a better payout than place bets.
Yeah.
So go back to one of our previous episodes if you want to hear more about that.
Yeah, so I did quite a few times put some numbers up there. A lot of times when a guy was having a really good roll, and I didn't have a come bet out because I had already covered like 3 numbers, and then it would hit the 6 instead of it coming down. I just left it up.
Sure,
there.
right?
So
yeah. It's like a
basically
place
put
bet. It's like
it's like a place bet.
Yep.
At Southern California, I play a lot of place bets, and here I come bets exclusively.
Of course, yeah.
I think I only made 2 place bets the whole time,
Yeah.
and it was where like something came down, I forgot about it, and I don't know why I placed them.
Okay.
But so I totally changed the way I play.
Yeah.
And I won, so maybe that's my new thing.
Your new thing is making come bets?
Making come
After
bets.
like 30 years of me saying, hey, here's how you should be playing.
And for years I did that, right? I mean, there were years when all I did was place bets early on, and then I kind of got into the come bet mode. And
Are you reversing it? You just reversed what you said. You used to make come bets, and then you got into a place bet mode.
right. Initially, I made come bets, and then I got into a place bet mode.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm going to go back to come bet mode.
All right. You're confusing everybody, including me, but the bottom line is the way I've been telling him to play for years, it's like this big revelation to him all of a sudden. Hey, Mark, this is actually not a bad way to play.
So you realize I'm not really paying attention to you.
Oh, there you go. You did mention that before, that most of the time you're not paying
Just
attention.
not paying
Okay,
attention.
we're good.
So anyway, now I lost my train of thought.
Oh, no kidding.
But the come bets worked out well. And as a matter of fact, just as an aside, before I finish this off about our trip, we went this weekend and I did play come bets.
Oh, yeah. So we went to our local casino here, and he did indeed play come bets.
And we did indeed win.
Yeah, both of us did, and we won. Yep.
Yeah, and
So
we
that's
ended
the
up
key.
Having a winning night. So until that loss comes, which it will, I'm going to stick with the come
Good.
bets. So let's see. The suite was really nice. I wanted to mention that. The rooms were really nice. Everyone was really nice. There were a lot of people. It's kind of a locals, like I mentioned. There were a lot of like what I call hanger-oners, just people hanging around, making like weird bets, trying to get you to give them some money.
Oh, really?
Yes. That happened to me almost every instance.
Really?
Yeah. The last day, that Sunday night, there was some young girl standing next to me. She had like $20. It was a $5 table. Sunday night, they had $5 tables.
Uh-huh.
And so I was
Good.
putting 5 with 100 odds. And
Yeah.
that she was, we were on a pretty good roll and I was winning. She turned to me, oh, I'm your lucky charm. And she's like, she had every once in a while put like $5 on a 6.
Mm-hmm. $5 on a
$5
six,
on a 6, yes. And, she had maybe $20 with her. I don't know why she wouldn't put 6. But anyway, she basically, finally just came out and said, are you going to take care of me at the end?
Really?
And I'm like, I was shooting, having a good roll. I'm like, well, I'm rolling the dice and these guys are working. What are you doing exactly?
How have you helped?
How have you helped? Anyway, there seemed to be a lot of people like that. The first night, there was a guy next to me. His name was Phil. He was a nice guy. He was very talkative, local guy. He was not asking for money or anything, but it was a $10 table. So he was asking me, he would put 5 in and I would put 5 in and we'd take the 5. Even though I already had a $10 come bet on it with like 200 odds.
Oh, so well, that's okay because that's his way of playing at a $5 table virtually, right? Now he only has to put $5 out there. Well, that's fine. Yeah.
So then when it hit, he would get it, and then he would. What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, press it, and then we'd split the $4.
Okay,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
So
that's fine.
Yeah, that was fine. He wasn't taking advantage or anything, but he was real friendly, and he basically talked to me the whole night. Okay, so we had $500 food voucher, right? So we did a lot of stuff outside the casino because we're there for the wedding. So we did some sightseeing on Saturday, and Sunday was the wedding. It took a lot of time up. So we didn't eat that much in the casino. They had a nice cafe in the hotel, and we ate breakfast there every morning. Really nice.
Good.
I mean, inexpensive, lots of food, good food, freshly cooked. They were only open for breakfast and dinner. So they closed midday. They closed like at 11 or something and didn't open up again until like 4. But the last morning, we ate our breakfast, and I asked the lady, I said, now, how much do I have left? And she's like, you got like $140 left of your 5. So we brought home $140 of candy bars.
Nice.
They had a thing, it was like a cafe thing. And so she loaded me up with candy bars, and I picked out, $140 of candy bars. And I think we got within a few bucks of the $500.
That's great.
And
That's
stuffed
smart.
them in the suitcase. Yeah. So we got all this candy now. And, I should say we did a few things in Louisville. We went to Churchill Downs. That was very interesting. Mm-hmm. There was one really good story the tour guide told us about how alcohol is real expensive, like on Kentucky Derby Day, right? Mm-hmm. So some guy got this idea that he was going to bury some alcohol in the infield. So he was there, not on the Kentucky Derby, but on another day, almost a year in advance, buried some bottles of alcohol in the infield and somehow marked them. And nobody caught him burying them or anything, but on Kentucky Derby Day, some security guy happened to notice him digging a hole. And it was full of, he had these bottles of booze down there. And so he got in trouble for bringing in alcohol.
What, is that a true story?
He said it was the tour guide said it was a true story.
That's a good story.
Yeah. So
true or not, it's a good story.
He was trying to dig his alcohol
That's
up when
great.
they caught him. But he actually got it down there okay.
Yeah.
And, the infield, the guy said, it's amazing they caught him because the infield is just packed full of people.
Yeah.
The place seats like 30,000 or something, and there's like 200,000 there for Kentucky Derby. Yeah. We went to the Louisville Sluggery Museum. My advice, if you're a baseball fan, you got to go there.
Good.
I mean, it really was neat to see. And then we went to the wedding on Sunday. That all went good. They got married. I'm sitting there thinking, come on, let's get back to the hotel.
Right. This is valuable time they're taking up.
No, I wasn't thinking that. I mean, a little bit maybe, but...
sure, a little bit. You can admit it.
A little bit. But the wedding went good, and it was a nice wedding. It went fast, so... And that was it. That was our trip. And then we flew back home. We got home on time early and went back to work.
Yeah, good. So that's great. So you had 4 sessions. You won every session.
I won every session, yes. Yeah. And the smallest winning session was like $900.
That's great.
Yeah,
no, that's great. Especially since it's been kind of rough for both of us. At least playing here locally, it's nice to have a big win like that for a whole trip.
And there was nothing special, right?
Right.
It was good rolls.
Yeah,
it seemed like every time if I went down a little, then somebody all of a sudden would have some good roll. And I was lucky enough to have my money out there at the right times.
Yeah.
So I was doing 3 come bets. It seemed like if I went to a 4th, it worked out okay.
Good.
It was one of those
sometimes
things.
It's scary, but yeah.
I was scared. When I first got there, I was a little scared because I'm thinking 100 times odds. I didn't bring that much money.
It's not like you have to bet a ton of odds.
I don't have to, but there's that little devil on my shoulder saying, get 100 times odds out there.
Good. All right. Well, welcome back. Good trip. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think I covered pretty much everything.
Good. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS, or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That. We always tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. All right, Dr. Mike.
Well, Mark, the only thing I got to add to this show is that it's going to be rough for us on Friday nights now, our normal casino night, because we've got to get on a plane, fly to Louisville, drive to the casino.
And that's a 30-minute drive, you said, right?
30-minute drive, get a rental car. Yeah. That's going to take a few minutes. Yeah. Drive to the casino, gamble, and then get back here by Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Take the overnight flight, I guess.
That is going to be rough. All right.
But that's what we got to do because, I'm undefeated in Indiana. Yeah. Undefeated in the state of Indiana.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about that. Maybe we can work out something with the airline, frequent flyers. I don't know. That is going to be rough, though.
We'll see if our
depressing to think
wives
about right
want to make some trips to southern Indiana.
Yeah, again and
to
again
a casino
and again.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.